Hey everyone, let's try this again. I'm having a little trying to figure out the two streams that are on my software. So how is everyone? I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to get on. I'm going to let everyone know in Facebook that I am live. I am live. We're streaming from YouTube now, right? So let me just let everyone know that we're in YouTube. And let's see. I am live and let everyone know. Let's see. Let's see. All right. I'm going to put the link, copy, paste, and see who's going to join. All right. Tonight, we're going to be talking about why good employees don't want to work for you. Why don't employees want to work for you? Nobody really knows. This is the biggest thing. Okay. This is the biggest thing. Oh, I see a couple people. Okay. Hi, everyone. We had a little technical difficulty. I had to start a new stream, so I'm going to wait a few minutes. For some reason, when I start a stream, it was starting a stream, so I'm trying to figure that out. So let me get rid of that. So okay. All right. We have a couple people on. Let me see. Let me know where you're from. Say hi. Say hello. Hi, Amanda. So what was going on technically is when I start a StreamYard, it makes two streams to YouTube. So earlier I was kind of messing around with it and I was trying to delete. I had to delete one and I deleted the one that was connected to the live. So I turn that off. So anyways, two people, we'll wait a few minutes. This is going to be recorded anyways. We're going to be talking about why good employees don't want to work for you and why you're stuck at $10,000 a month. There's three. Let me know. Say hello, where you're from. If you're logging on for the first time or you've been on my lives before, say hi so I know who you are, so I know who's watching. That's very helpful to me. So tonight we're going to be talking about one of the biggest issues with scaling your cleaning company, and that is employees. That is managing employees. And Amanda, you know all about that, right? Amanda knows all about that. We know all about that, right? I know all about that. My husband knows all about that, right? It's a labor of love. So tonight we're going to be talking about making these deadly mistakes that are preventing you from growing your cleaning company. If we haven't met yet, my name is Cheryl Hasher. I own a cleaning business called Made Bright and Bright Power Wash. My husband and I run everything together. I also founded this group, this YouTube page called Sisters Who Scale, which is a group for cleaning business owners, which is support for cleaning business owners. So I didn't build a cleaning business by accident. I built it the hard way. I made a lot of mistakes, undercharging, overworking myself, micromanaging, hiring whoever would show up, right? Just hiring bodies, praying they wouldn't quit before the end of the week. So I was the hero in the field. I was the fixer. I was the backup plan. I was the emotional support hotline for grown adults. Yes, for years. And I was exhausted from this. But for years, I thought my problem was people didn't want to work. No one is reliable. I would say that to myself all the time. And this generation is lazy, but I was dead wrong. So the problem wasn't people. The problem was that I didn't know how to build a company that attracted, developed, and managed people properly. Once I fixed that, everything scaled. Revenue scaled, leadership scaled, my freedom scaled, and now I help cleaning business owners stop being overwhelmed managers and start being actual CEOs and hold your staff accountable, right? Accountability is a big part of this. So today we're going to be talking about the real bottleneck in your business. It's managing people. managing people. Okay, we got 5 people on. Okay. Labor of love. It is a labor of love. That's my husband. If anyone wants to say hi, he's on Bright Power Wash, right? He's on Bright Power Wash. So, okay, let's get into it. Most cleaning business owners think their problem is marketing, it's pricing, it's competition, or not enough clients. It's not. The real bottleneck is leadership. If your team cannot function without you in the field, you don't own a scalable company. You own a high stress job with employees attached to it. So the ceiling in your business isn't your market, it's your ability to hire, structure, and lead. So let's talk about what you could potentially be doing wrong. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off here. So let's talk about what you could be doing wrong. I always believe in getting to the root of the issue. If we get to the root of the issue, we know how to fix everything. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and talk about it. The first mistake that you could be making is hiring the wrong people. Most owners hire based on vibes. She seems nice. She needs a job. She can start tomorrow. That's not a hiring strategy. That is emotional decision making. So when you hire without defined standards, you invite drama, inconsistency, no-shows, and constant retraining, revolving door of people. So you don't rise to your hopes, you actually fall to your standards, okay, if that makes sense. Second mistake is people hire out of desperation. Someone quits and the panic sets in. I have a deep clean tomorrow. I have 6 houses I can't cover, right? So you grab the next available human and hope for the best. Desperation hiring creates a weak culture. So a weak culture creates chaos, and chaos is going to kill your profit. A scalable company cannot be built on emergency decisions. And a lot of people, especially when they start, they don't know how else to make decisions. Everything feels like chaotic and emergency, right? So let's be honest. Some of you are impressed that someone simply showed up to an interview. The bar is too low. Then you wonder why they don't take ownership, don't think ahead, and don't care like you do. You never define what excellence looks like in your company. You never define the expectations of the job. So if you haven't done that, you can't expect excellence to show up. Does that make sense? Okay. Third mistake is you're not hiring future leaders. So you hire cleaners for today's routes, which is fine, but you're not thinking ahead as far as could that person have potential management issues, right, for tomorrow's company. So when you want to step out of the field yourself and stop cleaning, there's no one capable of replacing you. You never built layers of leadership. You never built team leads. You never built management tiers. So you become the ceiling. You can't grow any further if you don't have different levels of management, and you certainly won't get out of the field if you don't do these things. Does this make sense? Okay. Fourth mistake is that your company doesn't operate like a real company. It doesn't operate like a real company. It doesn't look like a real company. So if your interviews happen over text message, over the phone, I'm not a fan of phone interviews. We do Zoom interviews first, and then we do an in-person interview. If your onboarding is random, if you don't look organized, if your training is inconsistent, if you don't have a training manual and you bring someone into the field and you go out into a house and you just say, watch what I do and imitate it, that is not a proper training system. Okay. So you're not attracting high performers because of what you've failed to do, if that makes sense. A players, good employees, they want structure, they want vision, and they want leadership. They want to feel that their boss is leading them. They don't want to feel chaotic. They don't want to feel non-structure. Employees punch a clock. They want to go to work 9 to 4. 9 to 3, whatever it is. In those hours, they want structure. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told where to go. They want to be told how to do it. They need a system. So when you lack a system, see, they don't think like us, like CEOs, like entrepreneurs. They want structure. So when you don't provide structure for them, they look at you like, you know what, this person really doesn't know what they're doing. And then they quit. So if your business feels chaotic, you're going to attract chaos. Okay. So this is one of the most important things I teach people. Amanda is just came out of Drop Them Off a couple months ago. Drop Them Off is my signature program. I work with people on getting their company and their brand looking professional, which turns you into a reputable company, not just an average cleaning company or a pop-up cleaner. You want to stand out because there's so much competition. So you have to look the best possible, right? If someone is applying to your job, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to see if you have a website. They're going to see if you have a Facebook page. They're going to see what your company looks like online. So you have to play the part. Okay. Number 5, this is a deeper issue. Most owners lack management skills, and management skills can be taught. No one is born with management skills, okay? It's not because you're incapable. It's because you were never taught. You went from cleaner to owner to manager overnight. You haven't been taught the right systems. You haven't been taught how to manage people. And that's the biggest issue. No one trained you how to hold boundaries. No one trained you how to give corrective feedback to your employees, to hold them accountable, right? To build their accountability, or to separate emotion from leadership decisions. Managing adults feels draining because you were never equipped with the framework to do it properly. Okay. Let's see who's on here. All right. Hi, everyone. Hey, Monica, how are you? Glad you're here. If you're jumping on for the first time, say hi. This is Live at 5. I'm Cheryl from Sisters Who Scale, and I do a training every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on a different topic in the cleaning industry. Monica, tell us where you're from. All right. So now we have identified the 5 major things that you could be doing wrong. You may not be doing all of them. You may be doing some of them. You may be doing a combination. So if you want to shift this, you cannot just try harder. You need structure, right? You need systems. So you need to define hiring standards. No more, she seems nice. No more, well, she said she really needs to work. That's the worst possible person. Don't hire that person. I'm talking about knowing exactly what kind of person fits your company, almost like an outline of the perfect employee before you even run an ad. So what are some non-negotiables? You're all going to agree with this. Attendance. They must show up on time. Coachability. Can they take direction well? Physical stamina. Can they handle the job? You and I all know that cleaning is hard work and not everyone can physically do it. So you have to make that as a qualification as part of the interview process. They need to have great communication skills. If you have all American speaking cleaners, you need to hire American speaking cleaners so they can communicate with each other. If you have all Spanish, you need to hire Spanish. If you have bilingual, you need to hire a mix. So you need to know that about your company. Every company is different. Okay. Do they align with your culture? Are they going to get along with everyone else that you have as staff? Do they have any leadership potential? You're always looking for your next leader. You're always looking for your next team leader who can lead the team, take charge, manage people, so you get to do other things like payroll and scheduling and stuff like that. If you don't define that, you will keep hiring off of emotion, and emotion is very expensive. Okay. You need structure when you onboard. So the first one is you need to define your hiring standards, write that on a piece of paper, say, what can you live with? What can you not live with, right? Live with, that's what I mean. A second is you need structured onboarding. So right now, most cleaning companies train like this: shadow someone for a few days, hope it's 6, hope they can clean, and then throw them on a route. There is no system in that. That's not professional. That is not onboarding. That is survival mode. That is, oh my God, I need to grab a couple of bodies that can help me clean these houses and get through the day. You're just trying to get through your day when you have that mentality. That is survival mode. So structured onboarding means clear expectations from day one. This is how we clean. This is how we speak to clients. This is what excellence looks like. This is how you grow here at my company. When people don't know the rules of the game, they don't perform as well. When they know the rules of the game, they perform better. And when they guess and just do it their own way, guessing creates nothing but inconsistency, and inconsistency creates quality problems. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Next, what you need to do is develop your leadership inside of your company. If no one on your team is being developed to think beyond today's job, you're building dependence on you. You're not building depth. You're creating yourself as the bottleneck. So who you are grooming to become a team lead? Who are you grooming? Are you grooming anyone right now? Anyone grooming anyone to be a team lead? Hi, Tammy. Made in a Minute. I love that name. That's a cool name. Made in a Minute. I like it. I'm made bright. I love it. That's awesome. So is anyone teaching, Amanda? I know you're teaching a couple people to be team leads. Does anyone here have employees and are training them to be team leads? Just say yes. Just say yes, team leads. Okay, the next thing you need is accountability systems, not emotional conversations, not frustration text, systems. How do you track attendance? Do you have an app? How do you measure quality? Do you have a checklist? How do you document write-ups? Do you have a certain write-up form that when someone is, inconsistently late, you write them up, right? What happens after repeated mistakes? Do you let them go? If there's no system, everything becomes reactive and you end up taking everything. You take their crap. And you can't take their crap because you're trying to run a company and you're the CEO and you're the boss, right? Reactive leadership is exhausting and it will make you feel burned out. Trust me, I've been burned out before. The next thing you need is a brand that attracts high quality candidates. You're looking for the best employees. Why would the best employees want to work for you? I always ask everyone. I was on a private coaching call yesterday and I asked Tamara, who I'm working with from Iowa, I said, why would people want to come work for you? And she couldn't answer it herself. So we did an exercise and we did it together on a Zoom. And we wrote down all these things, why someone would want to come work for Tamara. And we ended up rebranding her company of something that was very, very dear to her. She wanted to be a green company. So we rebranded her company, her mission statement, all that stuff we were working on. And it was really cool because now it took on like a different look. And I was really excited for her and I'm excited to see what she does with that. So she's now a green company in Iowa. Tamara, you've seen her. She's brand new. Anyway, so we talked about accountability systems. Now we're talking about a brand that attracts quality clients. So if your company looks chaotic online, if your job ads are sloppy, if there's no vision communicated, you will attract people who just need any type of job. Strong candidates look for strong companies. So ask yourself, does your company look strong online? Employees want growth. They want stability. They want leadership. If you don't look like a company that's going somewhere, ambitious people will scroll past you. They will. Okay? Then there's you. So you need to become the kind of leader who can manage people without micromanaging. This is another hurdle that I work with people over. I've worked with a lot of people who micromanage. When you micromanage too much, your people will leave. You have to find a balance. You can't under manage them and you can't over manage them. So, how do you do this? It means learning how to hold boundaries without guilt, how to correct behavior without apologizing for it. You don't have to apologize for correcting behavior. How do you separate emotions from decisions? How do you make every decision not feel emotional? How do you stop over explaining and start leading instead? Start getting them to listen to you. So, how many owners avoid conflict over controlling everything? A lot of owners, they don't want conflict. They just brush everything under the rug and they have a mess in their lap. So, neither of these create strong teams. Then the hard truth is this: if your team collapses when you're not there, it's not because they're incapable, it's because the structure is weak. And structure starts at the top, and the top is you. You have not created enough structure for them. Always look at yourself, always look at what you could potentially do better. Exhaust that resource first before pointing the finger, before saying people don't want to work, before saying people aren't motivated. There are plenty of people out there that need to work and pay the bills and that are motivated and that love to clean. How do I know? Because I hire them every single month. So don't make excuses just because you haven't figured out the systems yet. If you admit that you don't know how to create a tier of management, that you don't know how to create a training manual, that you don't know how to create all your SOPs, just admit it. And then you figure it out, right? Then you figure it out. So what does your company look like after you fix this stuff? Well, when you fix hiring standards, you stop feeling nervous every time someone new starts. You go from feeling nervous to feeling excited because it's a brand new person. So you're not hoping they work out. You're confident because you know you filtered correctly. So instead of hiring someone who just needs a paycheck, you're hiring someone who fits your culture, understand your expectations because you've communicated your expectations to them, and they start to see this as more than a temporary gig. They start to see it more as, oh, I'm just going to make a paycheck for a month and then look for something else. Okay. So your turnover will slow down. I guarantee you this. Your interviews will feel more intentional and you'll stop cycling through bodies and start building a team. 1 year early on, when we had Made Bright, we went through 27 people. 27 people came and worked for our company in 12 months and didn't work out. And either we fired or they quit or they no-showed. 27 people. We were doing our taxes for the beginning of the year. I don't remember. This is a while ago. And we were pulling out names. We didn't even know who they were because they had worked for us for so little time, a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. We'd be like, who's that name? So I'm speaking from experience when I say this. We all start like this, okay? So when you implement structured onboarding, that changes because they know the cleaning standards, they know how to handle clients' concerns, they know what to do if they're running behind. Instead of chaos, during the first 30 days, there is complete clarity. There is a system that you've put in their lap. Training feels professional. Clients notice the consistency, and your reviews are going to improve. So you're not you're not making the same mistakes every month. So when you develop leaders inside your company, everything's going to change. You have a team lead who runs the morning check-ins, someone who inspects the jobs, corrects the issues before the clients even notice, because that's the name of the game, right? Someone who can handle a call out without blowing up your phone. You start to hear things like, we handled it, instead of, what do you want us to do? That's how you know that your management is starting to take accountability for themselves. That is when you realize you're not the only adult in the room anymore. And that's a great feeling. So when you create clear performance expectations, correction becomes clean and unemotional. So instead of saying, I just feel like this isn't good enough, you can say, this doesn't meet our quality standard. You see how that's completely different? That is completely different. So instead of begging people to be on time, you reference the policy, you reference the system. So instead of tension, there's structure, and you bring everything towards a structure. Your team will know where they stand, and strong performers thrive in that environment, and you'll be able to see them very, very easily. So when accountability systems are in place, you stop managing from frustration. Your attendance is tracked, or their attendance is tracked. Your quality is measured. Write-ups are documented. No fooling around, right? Raises are earned, not negotiated emotionally just because someone needs to make more money. They need to earn that. They need to work for that. And good employees realize that, and they work and strive for that. So you want your promotions to be based on performance, not favoritism. Your company is going to feel fair. It's going to build fairness and trust, and that is what you want. So when your brand looks like a real company, something powerful happens. Your job ads start attracting better candidates. This is huge. People will comment, this looks professional. I think I'm going to submit an application here, right? Applicants ask about growth opportunities. They ask about management. So you're no longer convincing people to work for you. You no longer feel desperate. They're asking how they work for you. They're saying, hey, I have a friend. Are you looking for more help? That is a completely different energy. And when you grow into the kind of leader who can manage without micromanaging, your whole life is going to change. You're not checking GPS all day. You're not rereading every client message with anxiety as it comes up. You're not rewriting texts before correcting someone. You're not stepping into that I'll just do it myself mode, which is very detrimental, which makes you the bottleneck, which makes you burned out. Instead, you're reviewing reports, you're looking at numbers, you're planning the growth of the company, and you start to think long term. That is when your role shifts from cleaner to CEO, and that is a beautiful thing. Your company starts to look layered instead of fragile. That is fantastic. So picture this. You wake up, the business is already running. That's a beautiful thing. Teams are on the road, a leader's in charge, a call out happens. Okay, it's handled. The client leaves feedback. It's solved. Maybe there was a complaint. It was solved. Maybe the team leader did a final walkthrough and caught something before the client even saw it. That is a massive thing. So you're no longer scrambling. You're not stressed. You're not the emergency contact for everything. So instead of asking who quit, you're asking, where are we growing next? You're able to grow. Instead of praying for people to show up, you're planning the next expansion. Maybe you're going to expand into a different area. And the biggest shift is you can finally breathe. You can take a day off without anxiety. You can step away without everything falling apart or feeling like it's going to fall apart, because the company no longer depends on exhaustion anymore. And this is leadership skills. This is when freedom is found. This is when your business finally feels like what you thought it was meant to feel like, not just a job with a payroll attached to it. And that's a great thing. So this is a reality for my owners that have gone through, dropped them up. They're fixing their hiring issues. They've hired team leaders that are cleaning without them. That is the biggest thing. They're training trainers and they're replacing themselves and they're getting out of the field. Because when your company grows bigger, it's really difficult to clean and manage and, do everything all yourself. Their days are much more peaceful. One person who I'm thinking of is Gloria Paul from North Carolina. She's been in business a while. We've been working together for about 2.5 years, and she runs her company remotely from her home office. She no longer cleans. She only jumps in here or there on a deep clean to show her face for some company culture, right? She just hit $40,000 a month. She sent me a picture yesterday. When her and I first started working together, she was at $17,000 a month, which is still good, but wanted to quit. Thought about closing the business, thought about going to get a job because she didn't have any systems in place. She was still cleaning 5 days a week. 2.5 years later, she just hit $40,000 a month. And there's some days where all the things in her company are handled that she is a little bored, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. She just came back. She went on a cruise with her family for 5 days, and her company ran without her, and the money came in. And that is what I am obsessed with when I help people. I am obsessed with helping people get to these points in their lives where they love their businesses. And it can be done. Gloria isn't the only one. There's a whole string of names that have gone through Drop Them Up and continued to work with me through Sisters Elite, which is the graduate program. It wasn't always this way for her. It wasn't always this way for her, for Victoria, for Leah, for like a whole list of them. She used to clean full time. She used to have quality issues, staff issues, but we worked together to fix all that. And now her days are peaceful and she can spend more time with her family. And that is why most of us got into this business. This is her reality, right? And it can all be done. Who's on here? Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Olivia. How are you? Tracy, my girl, I'm starring you. It is awesome. I'm so proud. Hi, Charlene. I am so proud. I don't know if she's on. I don't think she's on. I am so proud of Gloria. I can't even tell you. When she ever sent me the screenshot of her CRM and it said over $40,000 projected for February, I wanted to cry because I knew where I know where she came from. And it was a cool thing. It is just as exciting, if not more exciting for me to see that than probably how she feels. I'm more excited because I know that it's an amazing feat and I know it can be done. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Olivia. I know it can be done. And that's what I'm obsessed with. That's why I started Sisters Who Scale. That's why I started this YouTube page. That's why I have the Facebook page. That's why I have the Maids Who Made It podcast, which I have another live episode next Wednesday with Amanda Ella. She's another up and coming rock star coming out of Drop Them Up and Sisters Elite. We're going to talk about her and how she quadrupled her income doing it afraid. Doing it scared. She hated hiring people. She hated interviewing. She hated training. And now she's training 2 team leaders and she's planning on getting out of the field. She's been bouncing in and out. That's how it happens. I wouldn't tell you that you're going to wave a magic wand and you're going to go from cleaning 5 days a week to cleaning 0. That's not reality. It ebbs and flows a little bit at a time. So right now, Amanda is ebbing and flowing. She is on her way. She quadrupled her income in 8 months. In 8 months. She went from a solo cleaner. Now she's managing people. And I want to say she's hiring her 4th person. Anyways, how'd she do it? Through Drop Them Up. That's how she did it. Through learning systems, through learning how to manage people, even though it was painful as hell. It's painful in the beginning, but you have to go through it. There's no other way to get to the other side of the mountain where you have freedom. There is no other way. You cannot go around the mountain. You have to go up the mountain and you have to, hit all those hurdles and fall and this and that, whatever. That's how it happens. It doesn't happen any other way. Anyone that tells you it's going to be a cakewalk is lying to you. I wouldn't lie to you. You're going to have issues, but who cares? Just figure it out. And that's what we do in Drop Them Up. We figure it out. Well, I hope this was helpful. It's probably the biggest bottleneck in the cleaning industry is hiring and managing people. I wouldn't lie to you, but just know this, you can change your business if you change your mindset, if you change the way you look at everything, if you're open to everything, if you say, how do I do this? If you want it real bad and are willing to work for it, you can fix it. How do I know? Because I fixed it, because Amanda is fixing it, Gloria fixed it, Victoria fixed it, Leah fixed it, Aramis is fixing it. They're all fixing it. Jessica's fixing it. Everyone is fixing it. And you can too. So just a little FYI, this is where the Live at Fives are on YouTube. On this page, every week you will see I post something in the Facebook group to let you know, here's the link, here's where it is. If you subscribe to my channel, it'll alert you, and then you'll get messages every time I go live, which would be easier for you. I know a lot of people have to watch the replay. You can watch the replay. Some people do watch the replay, Charlene, and that's totally fine. Totally fine. But if you catch me live, you can ask me questions. So that's kind of cool too. Coming up next Wednesday, Live at 5 is the podcast with Amanda Ellis. We're going to talk about her fear and how she fought through the fear and did it anyway, and her amazing story that's going to resonate with a lot of people. That's the Maids Who Made It podcast on video for now. So, all right, everyone, have an amazing evening. I will see you all soon. Bye.